Hi, I'm Craig from Yesway. Right, what we're going to talk about today is the new type of low Earth orbit satellite in the context of SWOT analysis. Now, those that aren't familiar with what SWOT analysis is, SWOT analysis stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Now, the strengths of this new type of satellite system. Now, let me just explain that. The new type of satellite system that I'm talking about is one that allows you to communicate via an overhead low Earth orbit satellite to a standard smartphone. So you don't need a separate handset, uh, as in traditional satellite phones. So it's a standard mobile phone and you can communicate to it directly. Now, in terms of SWOT analysis, let's look at strengths. Remember we said strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. So strengths. Strength of this system, if we compare it with traditional terrestrial based systems, is the cell tower being the local transmit and receiving station that sends the signals to and from your smartphone. It's in space. It's not on the tower on the end of your street. Now, this has advantages because cell towers normally need to be fairly close to the cell phone user, the mobile phone user, and being on the ground, they don't like obstacles. So if you've got hills in the way, you need to put one either side or put one on the top. Whereas space-based systems, they're looking down at the Earth. There's no hills in the way. You can cover a wider area more effectively. So that's a strength for the system. A weakness is, God forbid, we ever had a conflict and hostile nations tried to knock them out, or space debris and other considerations. So many low Earth orbit satellites being put up there, and there's also a lot of space debris. I mean, the space industry now is really, really hot. It's commercial companies that are driving this rather than governments, as in the past. So a weakness could be, like I say, space debris or being knocked out, possibly by hostile governments. Opportunities. Now, this opportunity is where it becomes really exciting because as there's a network of these low Earth orbit satellites able to communicate directly with your standard mobile phone or cell phone, this opens up so many business opportunities. 2.6 billion people, according to the International Telecommunications Union, in their report from September last year, don't have internet connectivity. Now, if they did, just imagine that for a minute. Imagine the business opportunities, not just for us, but for them. We can sell products, services to people that are unconnected, and vice versa. Or it will also empower education and cultural understanding. I mean, of course, there will be threats, but I'll come on to that in a minute. So, business opportunities. It's a massive opportunity out there. If we get the whole world connected using these direct-to-handset low Earth orbit satellites, remember 2.6 billion aren't currently. Now, if everyone was, just imagine the opportunities. Now, let's look finally at threats. Now, threats. Systems up in space, as I said, along with it's a weakness and a threat, they could get knocked out either deliberately or via space debris. Threats. Well, I mean, if you can think of any, let me know. I'm trying to think of some threats. I mean, enabling more people on the internet. It could, I suppose. Well, it could be one thing I've been thinking about recently is The only downside I can see with this system, or this putting enabling connectivity for all, though I'm in favour of it, is if we do it really quickly, what effect is that going to have on certain populations of the world culturally, and from a psychological point of view? I mean, if you think about the internet that we have here, I mean, I'm old enough to remember when we didn't have the internet. Then it came along in the 90s and it developed. I mean, the internet does go back further than that, but general, since the World Wide Web was invented in the beginning of the 90s, or was it the last? Was it 89? Whenever it was, it didn't happen immediately. You didn't suddenly wake up one day and there's like social media algorithms a lot. If it was suddenly implemented, that could be a threat. It could destabilize possible communities. Not everywhere. I mean, those 2.6 billion people I talk about that I mentioned, they're not all in developing world. There's some in the developed world. They just have very poor connectivity because they live in such remote areas. It's not economically viable to provide them with internet. Uh, yeah, so hope this has been a bit of a sort of insight into the new technology and the new economic possibilities available to the world if this is handled right. What do you think? Good idea, bad idea? I mean, I'm all in favour of it from an educational point of view because according to the there's a UNESCO report from 2018, 263 million children and youths aged between 6 and 17 don't have a school to go to. Using a smartphone and an online app, the smartphones could be provided via charities of various routes to do this, could enable education for all, in line with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 4. Yeah, so I think it's a good idea. So I'm just losing my thread slightly here. I never script these; I just talk. I think overall it's a good idea, but there are risks in some suddenly imposing suddenly going from no internet to, wow, look at this, here's TikTok, here's Facebook. It could be a bit daunting, so maybe this needs to be managed as a process. Okay, I hope this has been interesting. Well, thank you for getting this far. If you thank you. Right, yes, this is Craig, and if you want to get in touch for any reason via whatever platform I've posted this to, yeah, thanks for listening. Have a good day, and yeah, see you soon.